Welcome to the Storytime Adventures for Adults video series. Today we will be reading Part 2, pages 104 to 107 from Songs from the Depths by Meg Swanson. I watch from the sun-bleached sand as my sisters partake, then play in the surf. I am on the outside. It didn't take long for the sirens to ravage the ship. Piscianoi took the officers on deck, while Alexia Pia took the oarsmen. Piscianoi told Agalope that as punishment she couldn't have anyone on the ship, but she could have the man who got away, if she could catch him. Agalope didn't mind. She still wasn't hungry after her last meal, and the prisoner hiding on their rock wasn't a problem. There were only so many places he could hide, and any other land was days away. No human could swim that distance and survive. Agalope sat on the rocky beach and slowly finger-combed her salt-crusted hair. Every so often she hit a tangle, but she just patiently combed through her hair until all the wind snarls were gone. Agalope pulled her knees to her chin and wrapped herself in her wings. It was true that Agalope had kept that other man a secret, but she'd learned something that could keep her sisters alive and full for so much longer than just stripping the meat from the bones and eating it. If they would just listen to me. By accident, Agalope had discovered the secret to taking someone's mind. She had been singing to keep her quarry enthralled and weak, so that she could tie him up and take her time eating him. She always started with the toes. They were the worst part, so she got that over with first and then worked her way up. This time, though, something new happened. She let her mind wander as she sang, and then visions filled her mind. The first time he had manned the sails, the feel of the sea spray on his face, his mother smiling and waiting at the dock for his return from sea. Agalope stopped singing, sat down and looked at the man. For the first time since she and her sisters were banished, her hunger was completely sated. It was through that man's visions that she had learned how ships work, what the different types of ships were called, and how to navigate beyond her small island and small slice of the sea. Life. There was life out there, and she wanted to taste it all. She hadn't meant to keep him a secret. She just wanted something that was hers, but she knew she had to tell her sisters about what she discovered. Before Agalope could tell them, though, they found the sailor and forced her to kill him and eat the flesh from his bones. She was still on the beach and lost in thought when her sisters returned. They were in much better spirits, laughing and splashing in the surf, trying to rinse off all the blood. Behind them the boat was engulfed in flames. "Hey, why didn't you go catch your meal?" Alexia Pia called out. Agalope smiled at her younger sister. "I wasn't hungry." She looked pointedly at Piscianoi. Piscianoi stood up, her golden blonde hair streaming down her body, dripping rivulets of water down her thighs. "You'll probably still be too full when the next ship comes. Why don't you leave that one to us, too?" Alexia Pia said, "Why do you have to treat each other that way? It is so unnecessary." She stormed out of the surf, wringing the salty water out of the ends of her sun-bleached hair. "What? She could have starved us to death by not sharing that last one." Agalope stood up. "If you would listen to me, you would know that—" "I don't want to hear any more about this. You kept a secret from us, and I am allowed to punish you as I see fit." "Because you are the eldest." "Yes, damn it, because I am the oldest. It is my job to keep us alive." Piscianoi still stood in the knee-deep water as she screamed at Agalope. "And it doesn't matter to you if I might have found a better way to do that, to help us." Piscianoi crossed her arms over her chest and stormed to shore. "No, our ways are fine, the way that they are. It has worked for decades and will continue to work long after I have decided you have been punished enough." She strode into the cave to sulk. Agalope sat on the shore long after the sun sank below the horizon. Finally sighing, she stood, brushed the gravel off her legs and feet, and started to walk. Even though she wasn't hungry yet, she should find the man sooner rather than later, so that it wouldn't be a mad dash to find him when she was hungry. This way, she could incapacitate him and keep him until she was ready. Agalope was on her third trip around the craggy perimeter when it hit her. The sharp tang of fear. It was a smell unlike any other. It made the air swell, and it always lingered long after she and her sisters had finished eating the men who were brave enough to face the unknown of the seas. But who, when faced with the three sisters, would cry to Zeus for help? She forced her breathing to slow to almost nothing. Agalope found him cowering behind a small pile of rocks. Her lips curved cruelly. What will I learn from this one? This was Part 2, pages 104 to 107 from Songs from the Depths by Meg Swanson. We will continue reading Part 2 on November 4th. If you can't wait until then to hear how the story goes, feel free to purchase the book at www.megswanson.me. Next week we will read Social Conundrums Part 5. You can read the Social Conundrums Futuristic Fantasy blog or catch up on earlier YouTube videos at www.reneeannhughes.com. If you'd like to contribute to these series, please feel free to become a patron on Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.